When London's calling to the faraway towns, you know it's time to hop that train.
So busy Waterloo station, Tuesday morning, bit overcast, going to head out along the river, see what I can find. There we go. That's quite a cool place for all those silhouette merchants. Need a little bit of separation really, it's perhaps a bit too busy down at the bottom. So try it landscape as well. Could do with the 2 guys, 3 guys, 4 guys at the end. Perhaps to hurry on out of there. This wall by the festival hall always has something interesting on it. Sometimes it's really big bold lettering. Other times this is a photograph, not sure. A bit depressing, but with the right person going in front of it and when the wall is ever changing, it's always worth having a look. These notorious yellow steps at the Royal Festival Hall, well, all around the South Bank, they've never really delivered for me yet. But they're a good feature. And another example of ever-changing artwork. Looking over towards the National Theatre from the Hayward Gallery. Always potential, but it's usually pretty quiet here, as it is today. Nice clouds though. And of course the other thing about filming here is you never know who you're going to run into. Just doing a little bit to camera and got is that Mr. Wilson? So I always think there's something here. It never quite delivers for me, but maybe I'm too impatient. I'm not good at hanging around and working a scene really. Oh, mind you, those yellow crosses aren't bad. Little shadow selfie. Beautiful triangle of light down here, which with the digital zoom on the 28, I might even get close, but I just need someone to skate through it really. Take a tumble, something spectacular, not asking much. National Theatre. Wonderful place for shadows in the sunshine. Some great contrasts. Probably not much chance of that today, but it's always a good place to have a look and explore. Low tide, so there's quite a lot of foreshore and a few people down there mudlarking. They seem to pick up an amazing amount of old stuff that washes up here. It's all a bit Dickensian, think of the bodies. I know there's an old, or at least the remains of a soap factory further down towards Greenwich. And a lot of bones and things, animal bones, wash up there. And the old clay pipes, those sorts of things. A few years ago, I got a shot here of Bart Simpson done in the sand, which looked really good juxtaposed against St Paul's, which you can see over there, and the city. It's a pretty cool spot. Not a view of St Paul's you can get every day. Nicely framed. I'm always looking for a frame. Just find myself drawn to this piece of fence. Not quite sure why, there's no light on it, but I quite like the subtle tones, and maybe somebody will walk through. What do we want? Big red coat? Floppy red hat? Don't know. We shall see. Bit of pigeon action. Loving the reflection of the clouds in those windows. Look at that. Great, and the reflections of the building opposite. I do like this building as well, the geometry. Light's in the wrong place today, but another time. Nothing great yet, but you never know. It's like fishing. Some days you catch a salmon, some days you catch a shopping trolley. This may be one of those shopping trolley kind of days, but that's okay. I've had a good walk, good exercise, nice cup of coffee, had some great light, and I've got used to filming. There you go, it's all learning. Great stuff. And you can't beat this, can you? What a place. Hugely overshot view, but for reasons. There's so much going on here. The bridge, the lines, Old St Paul's. There's a lot to see, and you could probably spend a day here. Just trying different angles, different lights. But yeah, it's trying to get an original take on it that's tricky. And whenever I see St Paul's, I always think how for centuries it was the tallest building. You weren't allowed to build bigger than it. And actually London's still pretty low compared to other cities. But yeah, as you'll see in a minute, the city certainly crept up and has overtaken it, really. All sorts of things catch my eye. I'm really taken by the huge lettering. Whatever Tide is, I guess it's a construction company. As Tom Waite said, there's always construction work bothering me. Not that it bothers me, there's loads of it and I quite like the change. Often drawn to scenes like this where there's just a regular pattern, the reds, whites and blues. But then again, problem is
He said he did his presentation and then he left.
finding the image. I don't know what I need to walk through here, but something needs to. Always love an ice cream van too. Probably won't get anything, but something about the colours and the sort of sense of hope that they give, a bit like the fairground. Well, yeah, fairground, but also seaside. Probably not much to see down here, actually. It's just atmospheric, good fun. One of the old narrow roads behind the river, and the original clink, the prison. It's now a museum, of course. Around the back into Borough Market, like it says on the can. Always pretty crazy around here at lunchtime. Today's going to be no exception, but we'll have a walk through, maybe a bit of quick fire stuff from the hip. See what we get. It's nice, kids eating ice cream. It's almost too much to look at, really. So heading down now from London Bridge station, tube, rail, to more London and Shard. You can't see it at the moment because it's right next to me and behind a wall. You can imagine fitting the Shard behind a wall. It is. I'll show you in a minute. There you go. Told you it's hiding behind a wall. Maybe a nice bit of reflection action here. This wall. Bit of harmless fun. Bit of a cheap shot, I know, but I'm cheap. Never really know what I'm looking for until I get it. So, fenced off today, but you'll recognise this from quite a few famous shots with shadows and trees and things on that red wall. Constant change, so there's a bear and somebody with a ball today, I'm not sure what that's all about. Beach ball and a dog with a bear. No doubt there's a reason, but it looks like they're redoing the floor. So, you know, I like all these things that change and you can't rely on them being there. Makes it interesting, always changes it up, always worth coming back. So yeah, so this is more London, from Shard down to Tower Bridge. There used to be a stream down here, this gold band used to be all water. I guess health and safety meant they had to fill it in. That's a shame. I got a few shots with it back in the day, probably 8, 9, 10 years ago. And they are particularly hot on people using cameras down here. So, expect the unexpected. Yeah, like I was saying, got caught. I've shot here quite a few times, so you might recognise the signage down here. I quite like the frame. No, I really like the frame with the reflection. It's just a shame, really, that Tower Bridge, which is in here, isn't a bit clearer through the camera. I could do with someone shifting it a little bit further to the left, but can't see that going to happen. So you have to work with it. But there's a lot of potential along this little street, especially when the sun's out. It's good early in the morning. Some lovely golden tones through here. It does get very busy. And really just waiting for a gap in the traffic. It's very much somewhere you could spend hours. You can imagine the shadows coming off these, the light, the scale, the angles, the geometry, isolating figures. And at night too. And out the other side, City Hall, Tower Bridge, Tower of London, Dude in the Hat. Yes, you sir. And Elvis. He's left the building apparently. HMS Belfast. I feel like a bit of a tourist guide here. Definitely served on D-Day. And the city behind. Always enjoy an escalator. It's like a conveyor belt of people bringing you different images as you go along. I quite like this backdrop here. just the concrete.
Jubilee line, the next train to Istanbul will arrive in 1.
I hope you enjoyed the trip up to town and the walk along the South Bank. I suppose it's always the same in these videos that you hope to get the most amazing shots, and generally you don't, because on a normal day out on the street you're going to get maybe 1 or 2 that you're pleased with, and it's unlikely that you're going to get any real crackers, especially when you're focusing on videoing as well. However, I have printed 2 images. I guess it's ironic maybe that they're not images from the South Bank itself, but from the escalator at the Tube on the way home. So all that walking about, I can't say it was wasted, because it's good exercise. It's always good to be out and about being creative, but my 2 images were from the Tube and on the escalators, as I said. So the first one is this image, colour image. I printed in colour. It wasn't brilliantly sharp, so I ran it through some sharpening software, and it has sharpened up our central character here. I do like the details in the fur, but it's gone a little bit over the top with her face maybe. I kind of like it. Her features are amazing and really interesting, but it gives it a painterly feel rather than a photographic feel maybe. And I think that's probably exaggerated by this concrete wall in the background and the way it's lit, because it does seem rather like a canvas. I've often shot in front of this wall. In fact, there was a previous shot in the video as well using that wall, and I do really like it, and I like the colours in it. But some other things to highlight here, I like the 3 people facing forwards and the mirroring in their arms, all very similar. Excuse the dog sneezing, bless you. And I like the woman in the opposite, going in the opposite direction in the middle escalator here, facing backwards. So there's a really nice balance to this image. I have cropped it in slightly because there was a figure just appearing down off the image here, which I don't think helps. So that's the first image that I chose to print out, and the second one I actually showed in the video in colour. But I think it works better in black and white, because the colour in it is so minimal, and it's really just this child here with some, I think they were reds and blues, but the lines of the escalator coming in from both sides, leading to the 2 figures and the little boy who's obviously the only one whose face is showing, and then you've got the lights coming down on either side, and just these white faces, this white face really, and this white figure in a vast sea of negative black space. Really, I think it makes it quite a strong image, so I'm pleased with that one. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. There'll be another one along hopefully in a week or so. If you have enjoyed it, then please do like and do subscribe. Bye dog, and I'll see you soon. Take care.